Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. These are the Charles Perry Stalker Podcasts. It is Friday, 1:39 p.m., October 21st, 2021. Mr. Perry, don't alter my evidence, please. Stay out of my phone. Don't contact me. But for your unwanted contact, your peeping, your hacking, your exploitation of women and children, your dark web peep show of which I'm a victim, you have 40 cops investigating you, sir. So when I get information from them about what you just said, like we want to put her back in jail and make sure she doesn't have contact lenses so she can't see, that was recorded earlier this morning. When we get information like that, that you're posing a threat to me, then it gets to me and it goes to my attorneys. It's emailed to certain people. You hack me, you see who gets it. It goes into a Dropbox where only certain people get it. You hack me, you see who those people are. Illegally. So you obtain information illegally, don't you? You see when I'm out of cigarettes and I'm going to go to the store. You watch me when I'm out of food and I'm going to go to the store. You're committing a crime against me 24/7. You're a turnoff. You're rejected. It's not illegal to reject somebody that you don't like. It is a crime to stalk and force yourself on a woman that doesn't like you. It's a crime to watch her in the privacy of her home. And you're being investigated for sexual exploitation of women and children, torture, torment, and starvation. Grand larceny with intent to coerce. You're about to be arrested for that too. Conversion with intent to coerce. You want to arrange another false arrest. You've been trying that since I was in jail for the first one. You failed to preserve my evidence. And if you had nothing to do with what I accused you of doing, you would have held a press conference. You would have made sure you kept the evidence. And you would have held a press conference to prove my police report was false. I was arrested 1 week, or I'll show you. You have to file a police report when you want to get a protective order. If someone's threatening you with death and false arrest, you need one. The first one was denied because I didn't do it. This was the first rodeo. I forgot my saddle. So Mr. Perry won the first rodeo, right? The petition for protective order shall be dismissed as non-compliant with Title 22, Section 60. What he's talking about is this right here, the last sentence. You must file a complaint against the stalker with law enforcement. That's my saddle. So then I get threatened with death and false arrest. Are you giving me arsenic because I'm getting sick? Yep. So I should be tested, right? And my blood and hair inspected by a forensic examiner, don't you think? Yep. Okay. So I'm also telling him on the 4th of January, see the date there, January 4th, 2016, me being dead or arrested on some faked up charges isn't going to vindicate him from stalking. It's going to prove he is. Okay, then I file a police report on the 21st. Look at the date on that. I listed the evidence, text, video surveillance from Lady Godiva's, and I didn't put the poisoning because I was scared to death Mr. Perry would retaliate, which he did. I was right. He did exactly that. They didn't even have time to arrest, and I didn't get a call back from a detective. January 29th, 1 week later, I'm arrested for filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a senator. Murder? Part of your job as a senator? I didn't work on Texas legislation. Didn't need you. I was long gone from Lubbock. I was living in Oklahoma. We didn't have an argument over politics. We had an argument over your stalking. I had 1,000 people I could call if I needed something. I didn't need you. I was in politics all my life. My granddad was the chief of police in Roswell, New Mexico. He was a city councilman in Roswell, New Mexico. He was a county treasurer in Chaves County, Roswell, New Mexico. I grew up in the home of an elected official. My granddad had power in the town where I grew up. I wasn't impressed with you. I didn't do Texas legislation. I did federal. So what did I need you for? So I produce the evidence of a political vendetta, please, because everyone thinks you're delusional and you imagined it. If you didn't have anything to do with this, you would have had the evidence preserved, and you didn't. You made sure it was destroyed. You would have said, I know Cynthia, someone's clearly after her. Let's find out who is doing that. And they're doing it using my name, and I'm not happy about it. So let's find out who that is, and let's put a stop to it. And that's not what you did. You covered it up. Mr. Powell failed to preserve the evidence indicating he had no intention at all of going to trial. I didn't get a call back from Tulsa police until February 15th. I was arrested January 29th for filing a false police report. She's saying right here, if you want to pursue this, call me. We got to get your evidence. We got to investigate your complaint to see if it's true or false. I'm already in jail for filing a false police report. Then, while I'm in jail, they want me to lie. They have 2 Texas Tech shrinks come evaluate me so they can say I'm crazy. She's giving indications of delusion. I get back and I call an Oklahoma shrink. He's an expert witness. I got his name from an attorney. And I said, what do? I need you to examine me because they're saying I'm delusional. I'm not. I have texts and emails. This guy was threatening false arrest. I have those texts and emails months before. This was to my ex-husband in October. He wants me arrested. I said it. You did it. You did it anyway. And now you're trying to figure out how to cover that up. We got to do it again. Make sure she gets arrested and doesn't have context so she can't see. We just need her to apologize. We need her to lie. We're going to steal all her money and force her to lie. And boy, Mr. Perry tells me every fucking day, I can see you. He types it in my phone. I can see you. I can see you. I can see you. Such a gross, disturbed thing to do. It's a crime, Mr. Perry. It's offensive. It's a turnoff. It is not a trophy. And you embarrass me. You embarrass everybody. Check the docket, I win. 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 You go check the docket. You clearly like looking at it. I'm fixing to file a 12-1031, barring you don't obstruct that by another false arrest and making sure I don't have contact lenses so I can't see anything. Duly noted for the record, that's what you want. You threatened me to my face, bitch. Why don't you have your attorney call and schedule an appointment and you threaten me to my face? I dare you. Threaten me with false arrest, death, taking my car. You don't have any money. I took all your money. You're broke. You have to take my bribe and lie. Do it to my face, you sick son of a bitch. Call me, call me. Hold your breath on the phone call. Hold your breath. 10 years, you've been rejected. I left. I moved twice to get away from you and get away from a conflict. You got mommy issues, and you're too unprofessional and stupid to handle it and keep it within your own family. You have allowed your life to be a Jerry Springer show and a soap opera, and you're icking and sliming that all over everybody else. How embarrassing. How embarrassing for you. You obstructed justice, and everybody's pissed off at Tulsa police that they didn't prosecute because that was easy. Mr. Powell had no intention of, actually, let me show you this first. Mr. Perry, get out of my computer and stop contacting me. I hate it when you contact me. It does not make me happy. It really pisses me off. This is my shrink. Saw me for a year and a half. And she didn't say, oh yeah, she's got a mental illness and I gave her pills. What she says is, she's intelligent, articulate, and honest, focused on her legal case, and what she sees is Mr. Perry's interference in her life. She's afraid of what might happen to her and those around her. Stalking is intended to cause fear. You're intimidating a witness and a victim of your crime. You're a domestic violence offender. You're a violent offender. Only 1% of the population does that. You're 1% of the people who can't keep up with everybody else. You failed at being a man. You're a drama queen. You got your little feelings hurt. Boo fucking who. We all do. We've all been rejected. We all move on, Mr. Perry. Had you not had anything to do with anything, you would have been upset that somebody's using your name to hurt me, and you would have wanted to get to the bottom of it. You would have made sure all my evidence was preserved, and had I lied, you would have gone to the press and had a big old drama queen press conference and said, see, she lied. I had her blood tested. There's no poison in it. See the video surveillance tape. Nothing happened. Or somebody's doing this to her and they're using my name and I don't like that. So let's get to the bottom of it and find out who's doing that and put a stop to it. That's not what you did. You obstructed justice. You destroyed my evidence. You love altering evidence, and you went into court and lied. People think you're delusional because you claimed you were a victim of a political vendetta. And you have no evidence to support that claim. Where is it that you live? Because I've been told you're in Oklahoma more than you're in Lubbock. You have to prove where you live, bitch. If you're up here more than you're there, you abandoned your family to chase a woman that doesn't even like you. That's what I've heard, because I hear the recordings. Let's put her back in jail and make sure she doesn't have her contact lenses so she can't see. What, are you going to carry out the threat that you made? To false arrest me on harassment? Look at this. This is from Mr. Is there anything political here? You see anything political here? Do you need to do this to pass a law in Texas, Mr. Perry? Are you unclear on the duties of a legislator? Looks to me like you are. I'm telling him I don't want this to end without death and destruction. And Dave says, I can't promise that will happen. After he admitted to giving me arsenic. Let your life fade away. Does any of that look like a political vendetta to you? So, put up or shut up. So you need to cover all that up, don't you? Right? I sent the U.S. Attorney a letter in August. I call the shrink up here and I'm like, I need you to diagnose me with something or not or say I don't have it. They're saying I'm delusional. And he goes, well, here's what has to happen. I have to look at the evidence and and you have to see things I don't see. But since they destroyed it and didn't preserve it, my guess is you're not delusional. And if you have text and email telling everybody he was going to have you false arrested and then he did, my guess is you're not delusional. But I have to look at your evidence before I can say that. And I don't know why these two Texas Tech physicians would put their name and license on the line like that to make a diagnosis without seeing that evidence that they failed to preserve. There was no intention of going to trial. You were trying to retaliate. You were trying to intimidate. And you were trying to prevent the reporting of your crime to Tulsa police. And everybody's mad at Tulsa police because you didn't do anything about it. And my life's been threatened again and again and again since. Now I'm being threatened with false arrest again. Let's have her arrested for what? Taking my shoes off if I go dance? You're trying to coerce me to dance. You've called everybody I do business with and told them not to do business with me. You've called my parents that owe me money from 2007 and told them not to give it to me. Those calls were recorded because before I do anything, I tell my guys, and they set all that up beforehand. Either they get the judge to grant a wiretap, or they call somebody and say, we need you to record him because he's going to call you. You want to coerce me back to the club. I was supposed to be arrested Tuesday for what? Not wearing my shoes? Do you know how many girls do more than that? Not necessarily at Sensations, but Lady Godiva's. You ought to go into Lady Godiva's, send an undercover, and I promise you, they're doing a whole lot of extras in the VIP. My crime, if there's not a crime, I have my feet covered. I've done a lot of lap dances for a lot of police officers, either off-duty or undercover, and I've asked them, what is the deal with the shoes? I take them off so I don't poke a hole in the couch. There's no extra something going on back there, not with me. They've told me the same thing. There's ambiguity in that law. Your feet are covered. You're fine. If I was supposed to be arrested for that, they would have arrested me. But for Charles calling somebody now, because I was dancing for 6 years without my shoes on and with socks on. That's you need a Stormy O'Daniel. You want a smear campaign. Mr. Perry, what about that is to be proud of? Why are you proud of that? Why do you think that lie will work? You want to coerce a lie. That is witness tampering. Grand larceny with intent to coerce. That is a RICO violation. Since your attorneys are stupid and can't explain that to you, my prosecutor is happy to. I'm not going to lie for you. You want to make sure I can't see? They're going to charge you with that. You're going to hack and peep and throw that in my face like you think it's a trophy? They're going to charge you with that. You're going to type in my phone, leave Oklahoma. You don't have any money. You have to take my bribe. I'm going to take your car. I'm going to come into your house after you left. You left my town. You went somewhere to get away from me and a conflict. I came into your house anyway, against your will, illegally, ruined everything, beat everything up, destroyed everything, and now I'm going to make you leave your own home. Wow. Planet Weirdo right there. Our judge is sick of hearing y'all talk about the same thing over and over and over. Do they not realize they're already caught? Do they not realize they're already caught? Then you asked me if Dominic and Patrick told me. I haven't seen them. I've not seen them. Mr. Powell dismissed my charges a year and a half later after I lost my house. He didn't preserve the evidence. He had no intention of going to trial. And if there was ever a violation of my anybody's Fourth Amendment right, that's it. They threatened it first, then they did it. And they're threatening it again. They're killing judges and cops. And they think nobody suspects a thing. And nobody's going to do anything about it. Mr. Perry, if I'm quoting what you just said, somebody's doing something about it. You guys are in the hot seat. Richard, you're in the hot seat. I got that in jail. You know the kind of power that can give me something that specific in jail? That's Fabian's name. Intersecting with the name Hope. I mean, the word hope. Of all the words it could be, of all the names it could be, it's not just any name. It's not just any word. It's not just in the same book or on the same page. It's those words arranged just like that for me. I have a better version of it. I have a better version of it right here where you can actually see. Fabian's the man I want in my life. It'll never be you. You're just a wannabe. Always. Every day, a wannabe. You failed as a man. You can't move on. So, Lonnie Athens is a criminologist at Seton Hall University. Mr. Perry, he was abused as a child. He studies the 1% that becomes a violent offender and can't keep up with everybody else. Domestic violence is a crime. Psychological, economic abuse, physical abuse, that's a crime. Stalking is a crime in all 50 states. When a woman says, do not contact me in any form at all, and you continue to do so against her will, that is a crime. Voyeurism, hacking, peeping, stalking are crimes. Sexual exploitation of women and children. On your dark web peep show site where you sell watch time, our witness says, as long as I've known Charles Perry, he trolls women. He finds divorced women with kids. He watches their schedule. He tells his wife he's traveling for business. She's never with him. And then he puts a camera in their home and broadcasts it all over the dark web and sells watch time and makes money, a profit off of their body and their pain and their suffering because he's a sexually dysfunctional sadist who gets off on hurting people. And I'm quoting him. He said he likes getting women hysterical and then he'll go rub one out. He can't stop himself. He became the bitch of his offender because we don't get to control what happens to us, but we can absolutely control how we respond to it. And Mr. Athens did. He's in control. He's chosen to study crime, and how can we stop it? What makes people do that shit? Hurt people and get off on it. Abuse, victimization, brutalization, he says. And I was brutalized, and I was abused, and I chose to try to find a way to fight crime so that no other kid hurts. No other kid hurts. We don't perpetuate the crime. We put a stop to it. And you have that choice too. And you choose every day to perpetuate the crime and be the bitch of the person who hurt you. And you hurt me, and you traumatized me, and you brutalized me as my son. And we both choose not to give you control by choosing to do something good with the horrible that you impose on us and burden us with. You want to false arrest me again? I want you to schedule a meeting. Actually, I want you to schedule a meeting with Jerry Ridley, Chief Ridley of Man for Police, and I want you to threaten that to me, to my face. You make threats to my face, bitch. You're pathetic. You are violating the RICO Act, and you act like nobody notices. Our judge goes, these people are not operating with a full load. They get caught and they keep going right at it. And they get all mad and want to know who told. You asked me if it was Dominic or Patrick. I talked to Patrick about a guy that came in 2015. I didn't get the feeling he fully understood what I was complaining about. Ended up, I moved, and then I started dancing at Lady Godiva's because it became too far for me to drive. So, since that time, I've never spoken again to him about you or being stalked. Not one time. So if he knows that you were going to false arrest me again, you told him. If you're having to ask me, you take that up with him. Because I've not talked to him about it since 2015. I've not even seen him in months. So if you're worried that Patrick is a leak, then you had to have told him something. That's between you and him. I've not accused him of being a part of anything. What I said is I haven't talked to him. If he knows something, he and I have not talked about it. If he's aware that you wanted to arrange another false arrest and selectively prosecute me so you get a little smear campaign and a forced apology, coerce a lie, you didn't. You told him, but you did. He and I have not talked about it. So if you're afraid he's leaking, you take that up with him. I'm not accusing him of knowing a fucking thing. Because he's not mentioned it to me even once. Same thing with Dom. I had to text Dom when I was going to be late or miss work because you caused a problem. Dr. Russell said that's what you do. She compared you to her mentally disabled patients. He can't get attention unless he's making a problem. That's kind of what the witness said, is it not? He said you cause women to get fired. Then you hack them. So you make sure they can't find another job. Then they lose their house. Then you have the ex take the kids away. You like getting women upset. All of that gets the whole family upset. Our shrink says that when you go to my family or the people I work with and you ask them to hurt me for you, that it's psychological torture for them, just the same as in Nazi Germany when they asked a soldier who didn't want to kill a Jew, they told him, you kill a Jew or I'll kill you. Tulsa police, it might be dereliction of duty. We've got guys, see, if we hear what Mr. Perry says and other people helping him, if we hear what they say, our guys have ears to the ground in all kinds of places. And there's a lot of people upset with you guys because you didn't prosecute the obstruction and the destruction of my evidence and the perjury. And then there's Dead Lucky and Framed Mike. And if Mr. Perry didn't do that one, he wouldn't coerce and push and shove and starve and torture and torment me. Witness tampering after witness tampering after witness tampering after witness tampering, RICO violation after RICO violation after RICO violation after RICO violation. We got a reporter that said, I am very prepared to make them the most hated men in America because I feel that way about them right now. I hate them for what they've done to Cynthia and Officer Neely. And he said it right after he was found guilty. And he said, if there was any, we talked to 12 reporters know some of what is going on, and then they're part of the need to know because it's not unusual for law enforcement to use media, is it? 12 people that they trust. So you call every reporter around, they're not going to tell you shit. They are not going to tell you shit. Look how Mr. Perry does this. He likes to see, there's some apps I've had to just take off my phone because if I'm recording, keep in mind, these are not live feeds. He can see me because he's peeping, and he sees me because he's hacking, and he likes to alter evidence. So he'll have, all of a sudden, I'll get texts and all this shit that have nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me. There was some apps I had to just take off my phone because things were popping up when I'm trying to do this so badly, and it has nothing to do with me. So that text that you just saw has nothing to do with me. He'll spoof phone numbers too. I've got 9 pages. 9 pages from my phone service of phone calls Mr. Perry made to them trying to reach me. 9 pages within a few days. Talk about harassment. We got to get her ringtone. Was that what that was for? We got to get her ringtone. So the guy says, if we thought that you guys were wrong about them killing Chief Miller. We don't think that now. She ranted and raved for a year. They're not going to let me testify. They're not going to let me testify. I'm being harassed. I'm being starved. I'm being coerced. Coercion, Mr. Perry, is a crime. It's a crime. You have given your offender control over every part of your life. You cannot even keep up with the 99% of society that doesn't act like you. You're part of the 1% with no control and no power to just act like a normal person. And you're an elected official. You're going to have to prove where you actually live. Where do you live? We hear you've come up here and inserted your life into mine. But you're never with me. See, if you're in a relationship with someone, you're with them. You do things with them. And I won't have anything to do with you. I won't even take your phone calls. 9 pages of you trying to reach me, and I won't take your call. 9 pages. What in the fuck is wrong with you? Your kids have been rejected, no doubt, and they got over it and they moved on. And they didn't reduce themselves to the butt of a dirty joke, did they? Like you have. How embarrassing for you. Your voyeurism is not a trophy, sir. It's a turnoff. People don't like it when you do that. That's why it's a crime. You are part of the 1% with no control. You can't even keep up with the society of the 99% who has control and doesn't act like you. Doesn't need to coerce. Doesn't need to buy a judge. Doesn't need to buy a cop. Doesn't need to buy shit. Because we can just go be normal, and you can't. 10 years, you're alone, and people are making fun of you, and they're sick of you. You got people in Lubbock complaining. And complaining. We know Charles Perry and Matthew Powell are the aggressors and the instigators. And we're sick and tired of their woe is me bullshit. Their sob stories. How they're victims. One of them said, if I hear it one more time, I swear to God, I'll punch both of them in the face. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We all know she left to get away from a conflict and from Charles. Charles is weird. He's a weirdo. We all know that. We're sick and tired of hearing it. Like the other way around. We know he's the cause of the problem, not her. He's the aggressor. He's the instigator. He's the provoker. And he acts like he's some whiny little bitch. Just, can't seem to get over it, move on. And he's a drama queen, drama queen, drama queen. And the guy said, if I hear him one more time, he goes, I don't take his phone calls anymore. But I'll tell you what, if I hear it one more time, I'll punch that bitch in the face. I'm sick of it. We all know he's causing the problem, not Cynthia. Or Cindy. He called me Cindy. These were from September 2011, Mr. Perry. Where's the fucking political vendetta? Put up or shut up. Everybody thinks you're delusional. Because you went into court and you said, oh, it's over a political vendetta. Show the evidence. Where is it? You look delusional. Because you see something we don't see. Where is it? What's the issue? I didn't do Texas legislation. I did federal. So what was the issue? You're the new guy. I already knew a bunch of people who aren't the new guy to call if I needed something. And I'm telling Jordan, I didn't hurt him. I didn't go to the media with this. He's hitting on me in public. How ridiculous is that? So what I need you to do is make him stop. And you guys threatened to ruin my business. I didn't hurt him. I didn't go to the media with this. I went to you with it. Where's the political vendetta? I'm talking about maybe I need to move. Because I'm getting threatened all the time. Mr. Perry likes to destroy and alter evidence. That's his thing. How'd you get that? How did I get this in jail? You know people that have that kind of power? It's not your name there. It's Fabian's. Because Fabian's the person I want in my life. It'll never be you. You're just a little butt-in wannabe. 10 years, you've never gotten a date. So the guy goes, he's going up to Oklahoma. He's in Oklahoma more than he's in Lubbock. He pretty much lives up there. Inserting himself into her life, he's in a pretend world. He's got a pretend life up there. Hanging out with her family. He's been seen hanging out with her friends and her coworkers, but never with her. Everybody starts questioning his sanity because in 6 years, he's never with her. She's trying to get protective orders. And he's going around telling people they're married. He's got a forged marriage license. Pinto said that. I came to see you for your husband. I don't have a husband. You got the wrong person. No, that Texas senator. Oh, I flipped on my recorder. Because I don't have a husband. It certainly wouldn't be to Charles Perry. I'd just soon spit on him as look at him. He makes me want to vomit. Look at this. On October 21st, Mr. Perry's recorded. We just need her to apologize. We need her to lie. We're going to make sure she can't have any contact lenses until she lies. She won't be able to even see. You guys know more about what money I owe and how much I have in my bank so badly, violating my privacy. They're privacy laws. You violate them like a motherfucker. You complain about my cussing. What about your murder? What about your attempted murder? What about aggravated battery? What about false arrest? You know it's illegal in Oklahoma to obstruct justice and a conspiracy to arrange a false arrest? Perjury? Yeah, okay. So here's Pinto. This is one of many people that contacted me in the forum state of Oklahoma. But now you live here, so the Oklahoma courts have jurisdiction. You'll have to prove they don't. I'm planning a 12-1031 motion to vacate on fraud in the state case. You keep typing in my phone. I win the CJ case. Call me. I win the CJ case. Call me. I win the CJ case. Call me. I can see you. I can see you. I'm bothering. I like bothering people. I don't have a life. I just sit here and act like a little monkey watching TV, bothering. You do things a monkey could do. Well, I'm not impressed with that. Not very interesting, sir. Get out of my phone. The fact that you can see me is not a trophy. It should embarrass you. I asked our shrink, why is he not embarrassed? She goes, he's mentally retarded and he doesn't know he should be. And you're proving her right. You proved her right. So, this is the last time I talked to Dom about your stalking. March 25th, 2017. I had to text him a couple of times when I was late, or I had to miss work because you did something to get my attention, like Dr. Russell says, because you can't get it any other way. You're not a hot, sexy, hunk of man. You act like a little girl. A little girl can sit around all day and watch television and play with dolls and unicorns and bother. I was in the grocery and this little girl was bothering. She was just all over the place, touching everything and bothering everybody. And her mom goes, stop that and come here. And boy, howdy, in less than a second, she stopped and she was standing right next to her mom. Very kind, very sweet, very well behaved. And I looked at her and I go, how old is she? And she goes, 2. She responded appropriately to the words that were said to her, and you can't. I don't like hearing from you. I don't want to hear from you. Don't contact me. You got antisocial disorder. It's mental illness. You refuse to respect the rights and wishes of other people. And I've told my guys, since he's got this deep dark web thing that he's selling internationally, and you're working with some other countries to put a stop to it, maybe we should send him to a prison where there aren't any civil rights. He doesn't like those. Yeah, what if we did that? What if we did that? Since you don't like civil rights, you don't like the rights and wishes of other people, maybe you should be sent to a prison where they don't have them. Maybe that's what should happen here. You reap what you sow, right, Karma? You peep on me and hack me without my consent and check my bank accounts without my consent. So we get what you just said. Let's arrest her and make sure she doesn't have contact so she can't see until she finally lies. We just need her to apologize. So they get that kind of stuff without your consent because you peeper rape me without mine, and I don't like it. Respect my rights and wishes, you sick fuck. This is the last time I talked to Dominic about you. He was standing on the other side of the counter when this guy and I were talking, and he's offering me $5,000 to be creeped out by you, which I still said no. Yep, you were trying to coerce me here. That's exactly what this was. And then, when I'm suing you, you get everything dismissed on jurisdiction because you wouldn't let me in the courtroom to show the judge this. So that Judge Morrissey, is ignorant on fact, and she chose that because what she should have done is said, no, we're not doing an ex parte hearing. What we're going to do is we're going to have a nice, fair trial where all parties participate. We're going to have a nice, fair hearing where everybody's here so that they can say their argument and their side. Because right now, you got all this, and you got a murder of a cop. Everybody knows you did, because if you didn't do it, it would have been the same thing. We support our police. It looks like this guy could not have committed a murder. Let's find out who did that. But that's not what you did. You made sure I didn't testify. You starved me to death. I had no electricity for a week. I had no electricity for a week. You've gone out my money, and you've harassed the hell out of me for a long time, but it got worse by far in October when I came out for Officer Neely. This shows all kinds of contacts within the forum state, sir. And the guy says he's inserted himself into her life, but they're never together. And the other guy goes, if all you have to do is watch someone on TV and forge somebody's name on a marriage certificate, I'm married to Jennifer Aniston. You don't ever have to actually be with the person. If that's all you have to do to be married these days, Jennifer Aniston's my wife. What a loony. What a weirdo. How embarrassing. And I'm going, Shrink, why isn't he embarrassed by what he does? And she goes, well, he's mentally retarded and doesn't know he should be. Peeping isn't a trophy. You go in any bar and I dare you pick up a woman doing that. This is a lot of perjury, Mr. Perry. These are a lot of texts that I got from people that you should want to know why they're using your name to contact me, if not asked to by you. One of them said he signed an NDA. Maybe it's worth the risk of suspicion, like there was on Gary Condit and Chandra Levy, to kill you, he says. Mickey James. Mickey James is a Native American. That's federal. That is federal. Is it not? Those three things you can't overcome. You want a second false arrest. You want a second false arrest. You want to take my car. You want my ringtone. You want a second false arrest. You want to make it look like you're the victim. You got guys in Lubbock want to punch you in the face for that. Do it. I'm not going to lie for you. You're going to piss everybody off. That's what you're going to do, is piss everybody off. And the reason we have such an easy time getting what you just said, let's take her contact lenses. She won't be able to get contact lenses. Let's make sure she can't get approved by Care Credit and get new contact lenses. We want her in jail. So she can't see and has no choice but to apologize and lie. And that's a RICO violation. And we all know that's what you want to do. We've said it over and over and over and over and over and over. And our judge is getting sick and tired of hearing you guys say the same thing. What is wrong with people that have the same conversation over and over and over again? Do they not know they're caught? Yes. Did she not tell them? She did. And they're still doing it? Yep. These people aren't operating on a full load, are they? Nope. These are not the brightest bulbs, sir. And it's so easy, it's not even fair. Were it not for your partners, you'd be in jail already, Mr. Perry. Were it not for guys like Richard that they want to get to, Mr. Richard, you need to get yourself a criminal defense attorney. Charles Perry would be in jail already. You guys are not allowed to take pictures of me in a club. When I go dance, those pictures are owned by the club and owned by the dancer. You must get consent to take the picture, and then you have to get consent as to how you're going to use it. You had my girls that I dance with take my cigarettes, my gum, and my personal items and give them to Charles. You were doing that at Godiva as you did at Sensations. It gets a little suspicious, as if you aren't being investigated and I could find out another way. It is also suspicious when girls that don't smoke want my cigarettes. I put text to the waitress, Brittany, on the docket in the CJ case, Mr. Perry. Oh, I won the CJ. I won the CJ. Call me, call me, call me. Did you think I was going to be happy about that? You're off your nut. Why would you be happy about that? There should have been a hearing about a protective order in 14 days in that, and there wasn't. There should have been a hearing on my motions to intervene for Mike Neely, and there wasn't. There should have been a hearing on the Pinto thing. There wasn't. Do you know you got a lot of attorneys questioning why there weren't hearings for those motions? There should have been. There should have been a hearing on the 12-1031 that I asserted in the federal case in Judge Cummings' court, 5:18-CV-137-C. Motion to vacate on fraud. There has to be a hearing by law. You have to use state law where the claim was filed. There's a lot of attorneys wondering why there's no hearings when I file motions. Who'd you buy? But, go out and lie. Everybody believes you when you have your eyes closed. They can't see you. Hold your breath on that phone call. So, yeah, I'll get right on that. What the fuck? Call Chief Ridley if you want to threaten me, and do it to my face in front of him. Or don't do it at all. Do you understand me? Do it to my face in front of him, or don't do it at all. This is a whole page of all the perjury and all the lies and all the things you wouldn't let me say in a court of law because you are lying and you are committing perjury. It's not that hard. It's so easy. It's not even fair. Lie after lie. Shut up, Charles. I didn't ask you what you think. Listen, I need you to stop contacting me because I hate it. I asked my guys, get him now. Lock him up now because I'm sick and tired of hearing from him. That bitch thinks I care what he thinks, and he never shuts up. Didn't ask you, did I? They assure me it'll be soon. They assure me it'll be very soon. I always ask him to please hurry up every time you contact me because it makes me want to barf on you. I hate it. I mean I hate it. I didn't ask you what you thought. I said get out of my life and don't contact me again. You don't understand words said to you, do you? Dr. Russell's right. Are you mentally slow? Our shrink is right. Are you mentally slow? There's Dr. Russell right here. So the shrink that we talked to, that Dr. Russell, I asked Dr. Russell also, and she goes, I can't do that. I'm here for counseling. I'm here for counseling. And she says, you escalate more than I can ignore. That's your thing. That's your thing. I'm asking another shrink. They say I have delusion. I don't have delusion. I'm telling everybody long before that Charles Perry was threatening me with a false arrest, and he did it. I filed a police report. I had to. It's the law. I hadn't even talked to a cop yet. They destroyed all my evidence. And he goes, well, without the evidence, I can't make that diagnosis. The fact that they destroyed your evidence tells me you're probably not. You're not delusional. Because I have to look at the video surveillance to see what you're looking at. And if you see something I don't see, then you're delusional. But unless I can see the video, I can't do anything. I have to see the evidence, and they didn't preserve it. That's a Brady violation, so I would say you're probably right. They're delusional, you're not. Look at that. More of Mr. Perry popping up his little thingy that I have to... Okay, look at that. Mr. Perry, like I said, hasn't produced evidence of a political vendetta. The charges were filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a senator. What part of stalking is part of doing your job as a senator, Mr. Perry? Okay, so you got this. I found her to be honest, intelligent. There's no diagnosis of anything, is there? No treatment. She's frightened of what will happen to her because, you know, when somebody threatens to false arrest and then they carry it out, I was arrested within a week. There was no police investigation. They destroyed my evidence. By law, you have to preserve it. Video, text, poison, blood, hair, to rule out foul play. You tried to kill me. At the very least, it's aggravated assault. Assault with a deadly. Right? I suffered bodily injury. And you didn't preserve my evidence. You destroyed it. Acts showing consciousness of guilt. Where's my delusion, Mr. Perry? You don't have any evidence of a political vendetta, that this had anything at all to do with your job as a legislator. So where you knew I had to file a police report, that's my saddle. That's my saddle. I didn't have the saddle in the first rodeo, right? So the second rodeo, I'm going to get my saddle. Right? I filed the report, but you had me arrested before that report could be determined true or false. And destroyed my evidence. It can't be determined true or false if there is no evidence because you ruined it. You destroyed it. And now you want to do a second one to cover all that up, don't you? And the murder of Chief Miller because he was starting to figure out what you were doing. You were full of shit, weren't you? So there's also this. Here we have this. We have people that saw things I didn't see. Like this. I wasn't there. We all saw black Lexus driving around, creeping everybody out. with Texas plates. We all complained about it. Everybody joked about it. It's the Texas Mafia's back. There you go. I didn't see it. I wasn't there. She did. Same thing here. She saw what I saw. And that, not only that, we got pictures of people pulling up there and taking pictures. She said there's a Raptor right now. See? I should have taken a picture of that one. But he was parked right where that truck is. You guys allege that I'm defending Mike Neely because he and I had an affair. We're like laughing. Well, he came to take a report. He was there 30 minutes. He was there with Brett Gibson, and there was a bunch of people watching in the parking lot. And you had these people pulling up taking pictures. So if there was an affair, you'd had a picture of it. Same thing with your false allegations that I'm a prostitute. Now you want to get me on taking my shoes off, and first you want to coerce me out to the club, right? We got to get her starving to death so she goes back out to that club and gets on that pole and on a schedule. Except he said it real hick, which I can't even stand. Right, Mr. Perry? You want me back on that pole and on a schedule so you can false arrest me again. You have my coworkers watching me on my phone. Talk to my attorneys. This club is empty on a Friday night and it shouldn't be. I dropped everything and went into Tulsa, took pictures of Lady Godiva's lipsticks, landing strip, and night trips packed out. And our club was empty. But then we had all those guys parked outside that we were running off, or trying to, because you were running our customers off. You had my coworkers taking my cigarette scum and personal items to give to you. For what? And you want to know if Patrick told. If Patrick was involved in that, I did not know that. He didn't tell me that. I've not made that accusation. What I have said is I do know the girls that I work with were doing that. It was hard to miss. I said something to Brittany about it and filed the text. I texted it to her. She was the waitress. She hadn't been there in a long time. So I've known that for a long time. And it was on the docket on the CJ case. But, the judge, being ignorant on fact, didn't see those texts because you had the claims dismissed illegally. Now you're trying to prevent the filing of a 12-1031 and everyone knows it. You guys know my bank account better than I do. I don't even have to check it anymore. I just get up and my cops call me and they tell me what you said. Looks like my bank account looks like. Here's what's in your account. They're talking about it. I don't even have to pull it up now. Just listen to what they say. They know it better than me. It's illegal to do that. It's illegal to get into my bank account, Mr. Perry. And you do it every day. So I filed this complaint. These people see things. There's another thing that somebody else saw. Some chick wouldn't let me out. And they're talking about it. She wasn't staying at the hotel. And I'm like, I think that your friend misunderstood. He said, I saw you chasing that girl. And I go, nope, I wasn't chasing her. I was just leaving to go to work, which, by the way, nobody should have known I was going to work. It was on a day I didn't normally work, and it was a time I didn't normally work. It was on a Sunday. I didn't work Sundays. And I usually left at 8 o'clock, and I was running late, so I left at 8:30. And yet here she is. And she pulled up. She pulled up right here to the right of that truck and would not let me leave. She was sitting there waiting for me behind that pool. And as soon as I started to pull out, she pulled in front of me and wouldn't let me leave. And everybody saw it. So where's the delusion, Mr. Perry? And where is the evidence of a political vendetta? Produce it. And don't besmirch me and don't slander me. There's different ways that you can be charged with harassment of my witness. The act is grand larceny with intent to coerce. The act is conversion with intent to coerce. The act is fraud, perjury, false arrest, on and on and on and on. RICO violation after RICO violation after RICO violation. It is not a trophy. It is a disgust. And you're told on and caught more than you've ever been told on and caught than ever before in your life. And the last time I talked to Dominic was in 2020 during the COVID shutdown. We were talking about how to make money. Because all of a sudden, we couldn't make money. Everything was shut down. Your name never came up. Not one time. So, if he was in on what you were doing, he didn't tell me that. I certainly haven't talked to him at all since then. That's like a year and a half ago. I haven't talked to him at all. And I haven't talked to Patrick in months either. So if Patrick knew what you were going to do to me and you're afraid he leaked, well, you told him. Because I've not talked to him about it and he's not mentioned it to me at all. And I haven't seen him in months. So you take that up with them. If you told them something and you're afraid they leak, you guys are recorded all the time. Did you let something slip? Did you tell somebody? More harassment, more tampering, more coercion, more stress, more duress, more torment, more psychological abuse, more domestic violence, more economic abuse, on and on and on. And everyone hates your guts. No one cheers for the bad guy in a movie when he wins, do they? Do you think you have... My guys can get what you just said. They got an ear to the ground and they hear how hated you are. That reporter, I'm prepared to make these men the most hated men in America. You know why I know I can do that? Because I hate them for what they're putting Cynthia through and Mr. Neely, Officer Neely. He said it the day of the verdict. I hate their guts for what they're doing to these people. I hope you guys hurry up and make an arrest. Everyone's asking my guys to hurry up and make an arrest. You're causing the injury. Charles, you have people in Lubbock wanting to hit you. They're sick and tired of your whining and your sob story and your drama queen and your, woe is me. She rejected me. Where's your wife? You left your wife to come chase a woman that doesn't even like you? Your kids? And you're the victim? You're the victim of what? I want to know what it is you think you're the victim of. You abandoned your wife. You betrayed your kids to chase a woman who doesn't like you. What is it you think you're the victim of? You killed a cop. You committed perjury. You obstructed justice. You've done nothing but try to cover up your crime. You are crazy, but not crazy enough because you do too many things that disqualify you from the insanity defense, and you're going to wish you hadn't done that. When you met me, how many times were you caught? Before and how many after? Can you still do math? You're an accountant. And you ruin people's lives and you hurt them in a way they will never be the same. And you've harassed and you've harassed. I don't have any problem with anybody that I've worked for because, worked with or for, because we know what you do. I'll ruin your life like I did hers. You better do what I say. Just like the Nazis did. You kill the Jew or we'll kill you. Psychological torture, my shrink says. He gets off on it. He gets a thrill. And he has no control. He's a violent offender. 1% of the population is a violent offender. He can't keep up with the 99% who aren't. He's inept. He's mentally and socially inept. And he cannot keep up with 99% of society that doesn't ever do what you do. And by the way, they can get a date and you can't. All of these things that you're making pop up on this have nothing to do with me. I don't even know how you do that. I wish I did. It's altering evidence. You're trying to make something appear as if it's not. I don't appreciate that, Mr. Perry. I've asked you to get out of my phone. So we are noting it for the record. You're making things go on in my phone that have nothing to do with me. Nothing at all to do with me. It's pissing everybody off. You're altering evidence. You're trying to make things appear as if they are not. So, duly note for the record, everybody, Mr. Perry hacked, and he's making these whatever notifications that have nothing to do with me pop up. I've asked you to stop. I have had apps that have I've had to just take off my phone because every time I was trying to do a a podcast, he would make him pop something up with my personal information on it. So I had to take the app off my phone. I can't even use it. Banking or something. So I'd have to do a whole podcast and then have to delete it. These have nothing to do with me. I don't know what that is. Stop altering my evidence. If you're not making skips, you're doing that. Or you're changing the page. Stop altering my evidence, Mr. Perry. You're trying to make it say something different than is real. Do you understand me? Get the fuck out of my phone. Get the fuck out of my life. This guy right here. Jesus. I'm so tired of this. You don't even know. My child was hit 3 times. It's not really even a fight. That's a scuffle. He's got blood all over him. He's got a bruised, busted lip and a cheek and eye. Do you see that? Now look at this man who was accused of killing someone by beating him to death. You know, my guys heard the Creek County DA, when he went to pick up Lucky, called over here, and he said there's extensive damage over his head, neck, and face. My guys heard that. They played it for me. Because Mr. Perry's being investigated for that murder. Whether Pensacola gets it right or not, we're going to get him out. And he's going to go home. And he's going to be blessed. And I know everybody shits themselves when I say that. If you're involved. If you're not involved, you don't care. And if you're not involved, you would say, I'm supportive of police, and it looks like she's telling the truth. And we need to find out who did this. I'm an elected official in Texas, and I'm a Christian man. And I'm a family man. And I believe we need to help this gentleman right now get home. Because it's clear he didn't do anything. There's no way. And I don't know who's harassing and stalking Cynthia using my name, but I'm aggravated about it, and I want to put a stop to it. Instead, what we're hearing is, how can we cover this up? How can we intimidate her into lying? We just need her to apologize. We just need her to lie. We're going to put her in jail and make sure she can't see shit. We're going to make sure she can't eat. She's not going to eat until she lies for me. That is disgusting and disturbing to everyone, and that's why you keep getting told on, Mr. Perry. It's not a trophy. You disgust everybody. You're disturbing people. And that is why you continue to get caught and told on and caught and told on and caught and told on. And I always ask my guys every time you contact me, hurry up, get him. I'm sick of this. And they go at you harder, and then I start quoting you verbatim. You want to threaten me with a second false arrest? Do it to my face, and do it in front of Chief Ridley. You make a threat. I'm going to false arrest you until you lie. We just need you to apologize. For what? Not liking the weirdo? I left. I moved twice to get away from you and to avoid a conflict. You were asked that, weren't you? What is she supposed to apologize for? What have you lost? You lose some investors to your peep show? That doesn't count. That's crime money. Doesn't count. She didn't have shit. She can't pay anything. Because you're stealing her money. Because she's a smart girl. Anybody can see that. There's no excuse for her to be broke. There's no excuse for her club to be empty. The county commissioner comes in to check out why is it empty. By the way, he was extremely professional. He didn't buy a lap dance or anything like that. He just came in to check things out. What's going on with this place? Well, Dave Robertson somehow got wind of that, and there was a bunch of migrant workers in there. Grabby and broke. We can always tell Perry's guys, they're grabby and broke. And they're rude. And they'll take up your time and not buy a thing. Do you go to work and not expect a paycheck? Nobody does. So when we go in there, that's our work. We're entertaining. You pay for it or get out. It's not a free show. You want a free show? Stay home and watch the shit on TV or your computer or whatever. But don't bother us with it, with your problem, with your broke. You don't tip girls $1. That's an insult. You have some etiquette. It's a gentleman's club. Act like a gentleman. Robertson, I don't have anything against migrant workers. What I have something against is the grabby broke guys. Listen, Perry, you want to get me on taking my shoes off so I don't poke a hole in the couch? Why don't you try going to Godiva's where they do a whole lot worse than that? I don't do the extras in the back. Everybody knows that. I've given a lot of lap dances to a lot of cops. Undercover or off duty. I've asked them about the shoes. What's the deal with the shoes? I've got this creepy senator out of Texas that wants a smear campaign. He wants to do the Stormy Daniel thing to me. And he keeps talking about my shoes. What's the deal with that? And he goes, there's a lot of... they all say the same thing. Keep your feet covered. One guy said there's some ambiguity in that. Just keep your socks on. Don't take your socks off. You'll be fine. It's not prostitution, but you want to make it that because you need your smear campaign. You want to run for governor or something? Is that it? Every time you got to run for office, you want me back in jail. It's that time again. I don't give a shit about your politics. Listen, I don't care. You keep acting like you think I care. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care what's going on in your life. I left. You're pathetic. I'm pissed off that you killed a police officer and this guy's in jail for what you did. Because if you didn't do that, you wouldn't act the way you act. You wouldn't come after me. You'd leave me and my family the fuck alone. You wouldn't go after my coworkers and threaten them. Hurt her for me. I'm going to psychologically torture you here like they did in Nazi Germany. Kill the Jew or I'll kill you. You tell my friends and my family the same thing. Hurt her or we'll hurt you. People hate your guts. I don't have anything against them at all. Haven't talked to Patrick and Dominic. If they're involved, I have no idea. They have not said anything to me, and I've not said anything to them. I've not even talked to them at all in the last couple of months. But when I have talked to them before that, it wasn't about you. I know you think you're all this big, important guy. So you got this man has nothing on him, right? The wrist report says he has a red swollen right hand. You can't beat a guy to death with one hand. Extensive damage over his head, neck, and face. A bruised, swollen eye. Or internal decapitation, blunt force trauma to the head, and strangulation. What's the cause of death? Or the injuries? Post-mortem, the injuries that caused death. And he looks like that. What planet is that on? That it would be true. And there are little girls that will walk down the aisle in tears because they want their dad and he won't be there. And you did that. This is serious. This is very, very serious. Mr. Perry, shut up. This is very serious. You killed a cop. And if you didn't kill him, you would have come out and you would have said, I'm supportive of police. And this doesn't look right. Let's find out who did this because there's no way he could have. And that's not what you did. You have tried as hard as you can try to force me against my will to lie. And I have repeatedly said no. And I've done without food and I've done without electricity to not lie. And now it's, let's put her in jail and make sure she can't have contact lenses. So she can't see. There was this. You were to leave me alone. And in order to agree to stop all contact with me, Mr. Perry, you first have to admit guilt. And it goes along with the whole plan of what we're going to do is send her home, make her think we're going to leave her alone. But what we're really going to do is harass the hell out of her. And then when she complains about it, we'll say she's harassing us. And Justice Scalia was in West Texas right when you were planning all that against me, wasn't he? So you had to, you kill him? And William O. Ritchie, who's a commander of D.C. Homicide Police, says, if you died in D.C., the procedures would have been followed, and they clearly weren't in West Texas. What'd they do to him? And why? And this is why right here. He was a supporter of the First Amendment. Flag burning is protected speech, he said. So you were worried when you perpetrated a fraud upon his court, he wouldn't go along with it? So while you're planning all this during my first false arrest, you did, God, I don't even... March 2nd. Michael Neely wasn't tested, and he should have been because he was drugged. And you know how I know that? Because he's got a police investigation. Perry, the guys that actually did this are being investigated by police. But you know what? No one ever asked me that. How'd you know? No, it did blew right by it. This was Lucky Miller right here. Charles wants the police harass her. But he's calling me, or he said he claimed to be a victim. He's calling up here. He's a victim. He's a God-fearing sex pervert. He's a man of power. And this chick won't have nothing to do with him. And he's all, poor me, poor me. We got to get her on harassment. We got to subjugate. Get the hair out of your mouth and talk right. Because the rest of the America can't even understand you. So, he was going to call one in, wasn't he? And you didn't like that? Mr. Perry, is that why you killed him? You like altering evidence. You like golly. Look at this. January 4th, 2016. Me being dead or faked up arrest isn't going to change. It's not going to vindicate him from stalking. It's going to prove he is. And I got a doctor. I can't say you're delusional if I can't see the evidence. And if they destroyed it, then you're probably not. Where's the evidence of a political vendetta, Mr. Perry? Where's the evidence of a political vendetta, Mr. Perry? You'll look delusional, Mr. Perry. You went into a court and under oath claimed you have a political vendetta against you, and there's no issue, there's no text, there's no rants, there's no nothing. Produce the evidence, because you look delusional. You're seeing something the rest of us don't see. You have an imaginary romance with me. I don't feel anything for you but disgusted and repulsed. So, you are the delusional one. Stop accusing people of doing what you do. You're the criminal, not me. You got guys in Lubbock that want to hit you and Matt both. Sick and tired of your whining and your drama queen act. Woe is me, the boo-hoo. Everyone can see they're the ones going at her. They're the aggressors. They're causing the problems, not her. She did move twice to avoid a conflict and to get away from this drama. And these two are embarrassing the whole town with this bullshit. And Charles Perry needs to get a fucking life and stay away from her. All you do is pester and bother and pester and bother and pester and bother. When you pester me, when you invade my privacy, and I can get my bank balance by listening to you. Whatever my guys get recordings of you. I could figure out what bills are due based on my guys calling me up and go, oh, here's your bills today. They're going over your bills. They're going over your bank accounts. Here it is. Listen. I don't even have to look anymore. Y'all do it so much. She's about out of cigarettes. Go to the store. She's going to go to the store. She's almost out of cigarettes. Everybody go to the store. Here's where she usually goes. And stuff you're not supposed to know. We're all tired of it, Charles. The more you do it, the more information we get. I mean, it's that simple. How many times were you told on before you met me? How many after? We're sick and tired of you. Get out of my phone and quit altering evidence. Quit altering my evidence. It's saying shit. I didn't even, what in the hell is that for? What in the fuck is that for? Please get out of my life, you sick little fuck. You're worried about my cousin? What about your murder? What about the Miller kids? What about the Neely kid? What about my kids? You're worried about me dancing with socks on? What about the Miller kids? What about the destruction of my property and my life and my relationships and the threats after threat after threat? You want to threaten me with a second false arrest? How about you call Chief Ridley and you threaten me to my face with a second false arrest, with death, with taking my car? You're going to submit. You're going to subjugate. You're going to lie or else. Do that in front of Jerry Ridley to my face. You pathetic little drama queen. You are not a victim. And you got people in Lubbock that are sick and tired of you talking about it and bothering them with it and taking up their time with it. And they know it's not true. Because you think you close your eyes and nobody can see you. And everybody's as dumb as you. Get out of my life. When you bother me, I ask my guys go harder at him to get this thing wrapped up faster because I don't want to hear it one more time. That little weirdo thinks I care what he thinks, and he never shuts up, and he's not getting it when I say, I don't care what you think. I said get out of my life and don't contact me again. And he's not getting it. Very, very slow. Very, very, very irritating. Please don't bother me again. You want to threaten and harass me with something? You're going to get a charge for that. Please no. Mr. Richard, you need to see a criminal defense attorney. You don't get to take pictures of us in the club. Those are owned by us, and those are owned by the club. We use those for marketing. That's our business. We're independent contractors. And every girl in there can sue the hell out of y'all for tortious interference and interfering with our commerce and our contracts, because when you run customers off and we're not making any money and I'm sending my attorney pictures of an empty club on a Friday night, and you think you're going to trick a county commissioner with their migrant workers who aren't spending anything, because it's not about bodies in the room, it's about revenue, David. So you got some guy coming in, and here they all come, and then when he leaves, they all leave too. It's not about that. It's about revenue. Nobody cares about how many people are sitting there on their ass using us for free. We care about dollars made. You cannot take a picture of a girl, any girl, in the club. You have to pay us for that. You have to get consent to take the picture, and then you have to get consent as to how you're going to use it. Richard, you need a criminal defense attorney. Because that is marketing material for us. We're entertainers. We use that to market our services. You don't get to do that. What we do normally is we take the phone away and delete it for you. Now, cease and desist all the bullshit, all the coercion, all the causing me duress, all your threats, all your intimidation tactics. You're going to arrest me again. You've been threatening that since here, January 2016. You did it once and you fucked it up. So now you're trying to do it again. You just need an apology. I'm sorry you're stupid, and I'm sorry you're creepy, and I'm sorry you're a criminal, and you are that 1% who can't control himself. Everybody in Lubbock is sick and tired of this too. They don't want to hear it either. I don't want to hear from you, Charles. I don't give a fuck what you think. No one does. No one asked you, did they? Are you called and people go, oh, poor Charles, what do you think? Oh, did she break your heart because she thinks you're a weirdo and she doesn't like you and won't go on a date with you? I win. I win the CJ case. Check the docket. I win the CJ case. Check the docket. Over and over all fucking day long. You check the docket and hold your breath for the phone call. I'll get right on that. 9 pages of phone calls from you that I won't take. That's harassment. 9 pages to my service. I don't take phone calls. I have a few family members that know how to reach me. No, nobody else. I don't take phone calls. It goes to a service. And you have to leave a message for me. And if I want to call you back, I will. If I don't, I won't. You have to say who you are and what the hell you want. Because if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. You are someone I don't want to talk to. I didn't used to be that way, Mr. Perry, until you started fucking with me and fucking with me and fucking with me and fucking with me all day, every day for a decade. You don't have a date. You're alone. You've never been seen with me because we're not together. You're delusional. Now, stop the slander. Cease and desist slandering me. You're going against my doctor, first of all. Second of all, if you're destroying evidence, when I'm consulting an expert, he says, I have to see the evidence. Oh, you know what? There's even another one. Well, first I want to see this. You wanted me to go to, this is the stuff I'm sending my attorney that you're, having the coworkers watch me. We don't know. The guy goes, I don't even know what all they've seen. They're not going to admit to anything. So what have they seen her send her attorney? They violated attorney-client privilege when they did that. But Charles has told them to do it. Because I promise you, those girls I work with don't give a shit what I'm texting. They really don't. They got a life. They got shit to do. They got interesting things going on in their own lives. But I'm sending my attorney that. I think I sent the Rogers County and the Mays County Sheriff's Department too. And said, I think my stalker's running customers off. And the county commissioner that came in kind of asked me about it. Again, he was very professional. He didn't get a lap dance. He was not there for that. He said, I want to know what's going on with the business here. What I should have said at the time when he goes, there's a lot of people in here right now. I go, it's usually not like that. I should have said, check the books. It's about revenue, not bodies. You trying to make it like I'm lying, Charles? Did you stage some sort of, like you like you do this thing at the top with my notifications? You got to make things look different than they really are. Is that what you were doing when you sent him in and Dave sent all his migrant workers in who are broke and grabby, didn't spend a fucking thing? And I told the guy that. I go, do you see all these people sitting here? You see any of them spending money? And he goes, not really. That's the problem. But normally it's not like this. As soon as he left, they all left too. Maybe I got a picture of that too and sent it to my attorney. You don't even know, do ya? Sometimes when you hack me, I think you have Alzheimer's and you forget what I have and don't have. Is that what that was for? You want to come in and take a picture of me with my socks on, Richard? I want you to go take a picture of all the girls at Lady Godiva's doing all the extras in the back. I want you to go take a picture of the Miller kids and the Neelys walking down the aisle with no dad. And then come talk to me about me dancing with no socks on. With no shoes on, just socks. Let's do that, Richard. You're going to need a criminal defense attorney, sir. You're in a lot of trouble. You're harassing me for Mr. Perry? You better consult one now. I'm just saying. If I'm repeating what you just said, you got something to worry about. You got something to worry about. You want to coax me out to the club like you did Mike? Is that what you're trying to do here, Mr. Perry? We're going to cut off all her other income, call her parents, tell them not to give her money. We're going to call all the people she's trying to get freelance work with and tell them not to give her money. To call Care Credit and tell them not to make sure they don't approve a loan so she can't get contact lenses. How would you know I was even doing that? Except you're hacking, because you should know I was doing that. I guess I will finally hear what you have to say. I've asked you before. How did you know Mike had to be begged or coaxed to go to Pensacola so we could kill him? And when he didn't die, make a false arrest and frame the guy for something he could not have done. You don't look like he looked after you've beat somebody to death. He didn't say, oh gosh, I'm all bruised. It looks like I was in a fight. Who did this to us? How's Lucky? Is he okay? He said, I don't believe you. There's nothing on me. I'm a detective, by the way. He is a lawman injured in the line of duty, and he's an officer down. And Chief Miller is a lawman killed in the line of duty, and his family deserves better than what you're giving him. You're an elected official. You're not supportive of police? If you didn't do that, you better step up and show you're supportive of police, sir. I'm supportive of police. I have suffered and suffered and suffered trying to help this guy because I know he didn't do it. I know you did that. And you've done every fucking thing a guy does to cover something up that you didn't want anybody knowing you did. But it's already out there. You're not fooling anybody. You can close your eyes all you want. We can see whether you have your eyes closed or not. You've shown you have delusion problems with this political vendetta. Put up or shut up. Because you have people thinking you're delusional and you imagine something that isn't there. Political vendetta and a soap opera. You're a little queen. You're a little queen with that. And you've abandoned your own family and betrayed them to chase a woman who doesn't even like you. I don't care what you think. I really am just disgusted and disturbed by you, and everybody is. And the more you cause a problem or loss for me or hardship and a threat, you pose a threat. You cause, you waste my time. You cause duress. My guys go at you harder, and we get more. Like, let's make sure she doesn't have any contacts when we put her in jail under another false arrest, so that it's right there. Make sure she doesn't qualify for Care Credit. So when we put her in jail, she can't see a fucking thing, and she'll subjugate. And we can violate the RICO Act and think we're gonna get away with it. Write that down. Write that down. And this guy, can we get Dennis to say he wasn't abused? And the guy goes, well, his mom was threatened with false arrest and death, and then the false arrest was carried out. And I can imagine they were threatened after that, which was probably even more scary for them, because once somebody, it's scary when somebody's just making threats, but when they start carrying some of them out, it is even more scarier. Then you wake up every day going, what's he going to take from me today? What's he going to ruin for me today? That's abuse to a kid. And he said, I can't imagine that would have been healthy for a young man his age. He lost his home again. He knew they moved twice to get away from Looney Tune Charles. And that happened. And she's telling everybody she made arrangements with her family. I did. In case he kills me or false arrests me. Here's Dennis's file. Can he stay with you? Yeah, of course. He's been threatening it. I don't know what I don't know if he'll do it or not. But I want to make arrangements for Dennis in case he does. We had that conversation, you sick son of a bitch. Stop contacting me. I don't care what you think. Get off me, rapist. Your peeping is a turnoff. It is not a trophy, and it should embarrass the hell out of you. Why doesn't it? Please, stop hurting people. Please, just stop hurting people. Get out of my life. Get the hell out of it. I don't care what you think. You aren't asked. You are asked to get out of my life, and that's it. You bother me, you get caught more. You cause a problem or a loss for me, you get caught more. How many times were you caught before you met me, and how many after? Are you not an accountant? Can you not add and subtract anymore? I think you forgot. I don't know how you tie your shoe anymore by yourself. I'm not sure that you can. You want a second false arrest? We know. You want to get my ringtone? We know. You want to take my car? We all know. It's been talked about and talked about and talked about and talked about over and over and over for years. You're caught. Fuck you.